Hey, y'all. So, I'm gonna make this quick video out of this morning. So, I did my video on my grandma the other day, talking about I love my grandmother, but she gets on my nerves. And I do love her. I did a video before, you know, my grandma is acting like a drama mama in Bahamas, you know. So, but, you know, I love her to death. But this is not to just pick on my grandma, because I have no reason to pick on my grandmother, but I don't want to, you know, because what happens a lot of times is adults always think they're making the right choices for their youth, and they're not always making the right choices. Now, like I said, this is not to pick on my grandmother, because a lot of the times when I go to her about the choices I'm making, she always tells me no on a lot of the stuff that I do in life. You know, I can understand, because she's my grandma, she loves me to death, but she thinks everything's a no, or you shouldn't do that. So it's kind of like a little overprotective. So when I was younger, I was borderline diabetic, and for years, you know, they always suggested I get gastro bypass surgery for years and years. And guess what she said? She said no. And she just thought gastro bypass surgery was not a good choice for me at all. Well, years later, you know, as you guys saw, I was almost dying from diabetes, and what it led up to was gastro bypass surgery. Now, what my grandmother for so long had said no to, the only door that was open to me was the door she kept saying no to. So, you know, like, a lot of times, like, and I'm only expressing this because a lot of times we as adults, or we as people in general, say no to things in the behalf of other people, and which could be good to benefit other people, and we're giving them suggestions about stuff about their life, and even though we don't think it's good for them, you know, it's really something that is good for them, and so we kind of become a hindrance. And I'm not, you know, picking on my grandmother, I'm using this just as an example, that we can be a hindrance to people. So maybe that advice that you think that you're giving, that, you know, you think that's good for the person, but it's really not good for the person, it's actually hindering them from making a choice in their life that would be very good for them. You know, we need to be careful. Yes, it's good to give advice to people, but we need to be careful of how much we try to hinder someone from certain things in life, because we could be affecting something in their life. Now, granted, if I would have got the gastro bypass surgery years earlier in my life, I would have had a different surgical scar. So I would have had like a big scar down my stomach. Now I only have 5 little cuts in my stomach because they did it differently. But all in all, you know, even though she said no for many years, I still ended up getting my surgery. And, you know, it was in God's plan, obviously, because, you know, like, for years, doctors were telling me, you need gastro bypass surgery. And I kept saying, I want gastro bypass surgery, I want gastro bypass surgery. To a point where it was either gastro bypass surgery or die. And so I'm alive. You know, it actually, the one thing that she said no to all these years was the one thing that saved my life. And so, you know, I love her to death. That's never gonna change, you know. But sometimes, you know, we just have to, even me in general, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that, you know, sometimes I can get in the way of people's growth and stuff like that. Like, you know, even like my mom, or, you know, your mom, or you, or, you know, like, you know, you could do it to your siblings, your kids, your friends, you know, whoever, you know, like, I don't know who it is that you're like, you know, they're asking you for some type of advice, and you're giving them advice, but it's actually taking them the wrong way, or, you know, leading them in a bad direction in which they shouldn't be going, you know. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful because, you know, like, you know, some, like, that, for me, gastro bypass surgery was a life or death situation. You know, it was about my life, and me living, you know, and thank God that, you know, I literally remember the day of literally telling my doctor, I want to have surgery, like, that's it. And I feel like I told her right on time, because if I would have waited any longer, I know I would have died. I know I would have. And you know, so just be aware of you know, not trying to, you know, like give advice, but leave open room for opportunity for people to actually have some type of room to be able to, you know, go down a path in which they may need to take. So, you know, be like, this is what I think, but if this is what you want to do, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because, I mean, it depends, like, I mean, on a person's safety and stuff. And I understand, like, surgery, you know, is kind of one of those safety things, but in this case, like, it's still, I mean, for me, it's kind of hard because it literally was a life or death situation. So, I love you guys. I'm going to work, and then after I gotta go home, I'll probably make a video later because I'm gonna show you guys all the stuff that I got myself for Christmas and do what I'm packing and taking on my cruise with me, because I'm going to Bermuda next Wednesday. I love you guys.